Hi guys, welcome to episode 52 of Notable Needlework, Take 2. I am Kate, Notable Needle, N-O-T-E-A-B-L-E, on Ravelry, on Plurk, and on Twitter. The blog, if you're watching this on iTunes, is at notableneedlework.blogspot.com. There is a Ravelry group, which you should come and join and say hello. For some reason, the recording decided to stop when I was recording. I was about 15 minutes in, and I had finished talking about almost everything except for the new stuff in the nursing school and all that, and it decided to stop. It has not been a good week. I will talk about that later. And I'm going to try and remember that y'all have not seen what I have done yet. So, okay, the first thing that I did was I did the drawing for the monkey sock knit along, and I'm not going to redo the drawing because I feel like that's sort of a jerk move. So CD's Gifts, who is Penny, you are the winner of the sock yarn. So if you can send me a PM on Ravelry with your mailing address and your choice of either the zinnia, the pine, or the mango colorways, and I will pick your favorite and send that off to you. Yeah, I did the drawing on sheets of paper because I don't trust random number generator. I put in numbers 1 through 4, and I did it 10 times, and the numbers 1 and 2 did not show up once. I'll have you explain that one to me, because, yeah, the number 4 was the one that came up the most often. I think it was 75% 4 and about 25% 3. That doesn't work with 10s. It was something like, it was like 80-20 or 70-30 or something thereabouts. I did not see the numbers 1 or 2 at all. So anyways, knitting stuff. I'm gonna move things around now because, yep. So I finished the Muddy Linda socks, and it all of a sudden got really dark in here. Guess a cloud went over the sun. This is Maddie Linda by Cookie A. It is out of Madeline Tosh sock in the cherry colorway. And there's what the pattern looks like more when it's stretched out. I did this, even though I made gauge on US size 2s, I did it on US size 1s because Yan has little feet, and I wanted the pattern to show up when she was wearing it. So if you look at it the way she'll see it when it's on her foot, it makes these lovely little hearts. It is a very pretty pattern. I do my socks 2 at a time, magic loop, and it was rather fiddly. I'm not gonna lie, it was rather fiddly because of the way you had to set up the stitches. It was definitely written to be on DPN. But all in all, it was worth it. It is a beautiful sock, and it was not that bad. It wasn't like you were switching around stitches like every couple rows. It was once that you had to switch between 2/3 of the stitches on one needle and 1/3 on the other to half and half. So somewhat fiddly, but again, not that bad. So, my finished object for the Cookie A knit along, which I'll talk about more in a sec. Works in progress. Even Star got no love. Daybreak got no love. I'm going to show it anyway because it's a lot easier to take out than Even Star is. This is Highland Handmade Sugar Maple Sock in the Brights Rainbow colorway, and Cascade Heritage Sock in the True Black colorway. This is Daybreak by Stephen West. It is, I love the way they're working out. I was just working too much on the sock to get pretty much any work done on anything else. And doing other stuff too. And then Will's Katamari socks got some love. I decided that because his legs are rather skinny compared to his very wide feet, I will be ribbing the leg of the sock. So I'm doing a 3x1 rib on the leg, and then the cuff will be either a 2x2 or a 1x1. I haven't quite decided yet. And this is Knit Picks Felici self-striping yarn in the afternoon colorway. And if you can see, the stripes go from orange to chartreuse to blue to brown to pink to this darker green back up to orange. So I'm going to do a full stripe repeat in the 3x1 and then a full stripe repeat in either 1x1 or 2x2, then bind off for his socks. He's very much looking forward to getting them. And that's just US size 2, 64 stitches around, with an afterthought heel. You may notice that there is something missing. I frogged the baby blanket. I realized that it was supposed to... Okay, when I was working on this blanket on either Monday or Tuesday night, I was looking at it and wondering how it was so skinny even though I was halfway done with the yarn by weight. So I'd used a half a pound of yarn and it was still super skinny. Turns out the baby blanket's actually supposed to be 26 inches wide, or square, I guess, and not 36. So I frogged it, and I told Addie that she would get the baby blanket before the twins started crawling. So, yeah. And she's okay with that, so I'm okay with it. I'm probably going to start working on this again in the beginning of April. The twins will already be here by then, but I don't care. I have a bunch of other stuff to work on right now, and it's a hooded baby blanket, so it's really most useful when they start crawling. So I'm okay with waiting on that one, because she's okay with waiting. Spinning. This is the Highland Handmaids Wensleydale roving in the Other You colorway. And I'm spinning it up long draw, and I'm trying to spin it woolen. I'm not sure how well it's working. It's definitely a loftier yarn. It's about a worsted weight. And if you can see, there's definitely a halo for it. I just got frustrated with everything else, and I think that's why I didn't get a lot of progress on it. That and long draw takes me forever. I don't know why. Okay. Hi, honey.
Your grandma called.
Okay.
What?
I was recording.
You can edit it out.
What? Okay. So that's it for knitting. Evidently my grandma called me. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. Okay. New stuff. So, 2 of these you saw last week. Well, you saw pictures of them anyway. The first is the Reese's Pieces yarn, came from Fiber Nymph Dye Works, that I scored last week. These are going to be a pair of socks for my brother-in-law for Christmas. His boyfriend is getting the rainbow socks, where one of them is finished and the other one is not. So I still have to finish those for him. the other one that you've seen, this is exactly where the first recording cut off. And my grandma just left me a voicemail. Is the Perry the Platypus yarn. This is from Nalani Yarns, and I will post a link to it. And I'm going to pull up the picture on the iPad. So, if you have not seen the show Phineas and Ferb, you should. I mean, granted, it's for people of a very specific sense of humor, I guess. It's the same people that did Rocko's Modern Life. So if you're around my age, you know Rocko's Modern Life. It's the same people, except they had 16 years to pitch it and to fine-tune it. So it's awesome. It's on the Disney Channel, but it's definitely supposed to be written for the parents more so than for the kids. So here's the yarn. And then I'm not going to hit the space bar this time. So here we go. Okay, so on the show, the two brothers have a pet platypus named Perry, who is actually a secret agent. And this is Perry the platypus being a secret agent. There's Perry not being a secret agent. But you can see the photo, or the image. Isn't it awesome? And then the woman who actually dyes the yarn did a pair of Afterthought Heel socks with the yarn, which is the whole reason I found the yarn, that I decided I wanted to do the yarn. How awesome do those look? I mean, seriously. Okay, yes, phone. I know that Grandma left me a voicemail. One of my friends saw these when we were looking around Ravelry during class break, and she decided she had to have them. So I'm looking forward to making those for her. Then the other new stuff, which you have not seen. Okay. I'll start with the first little bit. So, as I have mentioned before, I test knit for Claire Ellen, who did the Fellowship of the Socks book for both the Gandalf sock and the Elrond sock, which is going to be for her upcoming book that still has yet to have a title. She decided to have a knit-along, read-along for The Hobbit, and I mentioned this last week. And I know at least one of you joined. I don't remember who it was, but I remember recognizing the Ravatar. But the three choices for patterns were Gollum, Bilbo, or Smaug, who is the dragon. And I had Claire choose for me because she didn't let you see photos beforehand. So I had her choose. And I'm very much loving. She chose Gollum for me. So this is a little bit upcoming and a little bit new stuff. So I'm going to show the other pictures too. So it has a very strong ring motif throughout the sock, especially on the heel flap. And along the front. And then the most interesting thing to me anyways was there are openings between the cables on the back of the sock. So after she sent me the pattern, because I didn't know what the pattern was going to look like, so I didn't want to decide on a yarn before I saw what the pattern was going to look like. So seeing the ring motif, I decided to get, I went to one of the local yarn shops and I got this Sockalicious collage, or Collage Sockalicious, in colorway 7812. And it's a very pretty goldish, brownish, beigeish. It's a very pretty yarn. And it's 70% superwash merino, 10% mulberry silk, and 20% nylon. And I wanted to wait to wind it up until after I showed you on the podcast. So after I bought it, I came home, I posted photos on the Ravelry thread about it in the group, and everyone said, "Oh, it's such a pretty yarn, it's perfect." And then I looked at the label more closely. The skein only has 350 yards. I came close to running out of yarn when I test knit Gandalf, and that was a 400 yard skein, and most of her socks tend to take 400 plus yards. So I'll talk about what I'm planning on doing with this in a sec. Anyways, Wednesday morning I got an email from the other local yarn shop, which is the one that I shop at because they have more of the major yarn brands, but I don't really like the customer service, and they don't really have as strong a community as Holly's shop does, which is where I got the collage. I got an email from In the Making on Wednesday morning, and because that was Leap Day, they were having 29% off almost everything in the store, except of course for Madeline Tosh, because if they had had almost 30% off on Madeline Tosh, I probably would have bought out the entire store. So I decided, they have Cascade Heritage, I'm gonna go get some. So I wanted to keep it under $20, so I got these 2 skeins of Cascade Heritage. What I was initially planning is to have this blue be one of the prizes for the Cookie A knit along. Instead, I'm going to have this be the color for my Gollum sock. And the reason I chose this color is because it's a very similar shade of blue to Gollum's eyes in the movie, and the way I look at it is that Gollum's eyes are sort of the one part of him that still reflects the hobbit that he used to be, and not the monster that the ring turned him into. So that's where this is going. The brown I chose because I really want to do the Spectra by Stephen West at some point. And instead of just doing like a mini mochi rainbow with black, because that's kind of really close to what I'm doing with the Daybreak, I wanted to do it with a brown or a gray, and they had a very pretty chocolate brown, so that's what that's going to be. So, that being said, what I'm planning on doing for the Cookie A knit along, Cookie A knit along, which you have from the beginning of March, which has already passed, to the end of April to knit 1 to however many you want pairs of Cookie A socks. Just post the finished socks in the thread. In the thread on the Ravelry group, and tag your project with NN, so Notable Needlework, Cookie, KAL. So Notable Needlework, Cookie, A, knit along. But there's no A in the... Just check the Ravelry thread. I put all the details there like twice. So what I'm planning on doing is having the prize be your choice of these 2 skeins of the Collage Sockalicious. There's this very pretty purples and the golden yellows, which are a bit more subdued, but it's still definitely tonal, so it will make your cables pop. Both of these will. So, Upcoming, as I mentioned, the Gollum socks for Claire's knit along, the Perry the Platypus socks for Kelsey, and both of these are going to be wound relatively soon. And then the last one that's coming up that I'm probably going to cast on for tonight, because I no longer have a cabled sock on the needles, is the Gimli socks for my wonderful husband Will. And I'm doing this with the Yarnivore podcast group. She's going to be doing various knit-alongs for the Fellowship of the Socks book. And she's starting with Gimli, and Will has been begging me for it, so I'm going to do those for him. Let's see. I did that. Okay. So, for new things, there's two last things. One I'm going to talk about in nursing school. The other is I ordered my last thing of yarn for a very long time, and I don't know why I had to order it now, other than I do stupid things when I'm stressed out. But so I had the brown yarn for the Spectra. This is the first order that I placed with Jimmy Bean's Wool, because they had the most choices of mini mochi, the yarn available. I chose the Intense Rainbow colorway, and I don't have a picture right now, but they had very fast shipping. I got that, and I got a second Pretty Cheap project bag, which this is my Pretty Cheap project bag. The one that I got has a blue bird, and I think it's flying down. I'll show you all next week because it's already shipped. Very fast shipping. I appreciate the fact that they ship on Saturdays as well, because I ordered it Friday night. So far so good. And they have, every quarter they give you 5% of whatever you spent back. I know at the Loopy U it winds up being 10%, but you have to wait till you've spent $250 before you get that $25 in credit. So we'll see how this goes. If you do wind up shopping for them, let me know before you place an order, because they have a thing where if you refer people, I don't know if they get 15% off too, but I know I would. Because I need more yarn, like I need a hole in the head. Oh, no, there was one more new thing. And I'm bringing one out. I think I mentioned this last week, but I don't remember if I did. Pandora Radio is having a special with Vistaprint, who does business cards, for 250 free business cards. So those came this week. I know it's backwards, I know you can't read it, but it's a rainbow, which is absolutely perfect. If you see me at the Fiber Festival or Stitches South, you can grab one from me. If I send you something in the mail, Penny, you'll be getting one of these, because I have 250 of them. So it just has the contact information for the podcast, the website, stuff for Facebook and Plurk and Ravelry and all that fun stuff. But it's super cute. I just love the rainbow because it makes me happy. So that is it for new stuff, and that is it for knitting. Again, Cookie A knit along, any Cookie A pattern you want, including the monkey. So if you didn't get a chance to do yours, I mean, you can't have started it before March 1st, but if you didn't get a chance to cast on, or you frogged it, Katie, this is your second chance to be able to do it again. So There's a couple free patterns, there's a lot of pay for patterns. They are all gorgeous, so have fun with that. Nursing school. I really feel like I didn't do anything this week because Monday we had an exam in psych. It went very well. I wound up getting a 98, which is a lot higher than I thought it was going to be, but I'm not complaining. We didn't have lecture afterwards, so I was at school for all of like 30 minutes on Monday and was just studying for my exam on Wednesday. Wednesday, and I'll talk about this after I talk about nursing school, I only went in to take my test on Wednesday morning. I did not go to lecture after the exam for OB. I did not go to lecture for pharmacology. And then Thursday I did go to clinical. I went to my first day of psych clinical, which I was very anxious about because you don't really know what to expect and they don't really tell you. I actually had a good time. I feel like there wasn't a lot of nursing that happened. I mean, granted, there kind of was in that you're forming a therapeutic relationship with the client, you're having therapeutic communication, and we got to see a lot of things, whether it's group therapy, which we got to see, patient-patient interaction, and just actually being able to see schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, more schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, getting to see those in person, which it's definitely more educational than the textbook could ever be, as far as being able to see what's going on with these patients. That's actually where my last new item came from. The patients have art therapy, and one of my patients gave me the very pretty hummingbird stained glass that he made. One of my other friends had 5 marriage proposals. She was at a different facility from me, but she had 5 marriage proposals. I appreciate the fact that my schizophrenic patient made me a very pretty stained glass. It's the plastic ones that you do the paint. It's not actually stained glass. But it's sweet. He was a very sweet kid. Just a whole lot of bad crap happened to him. Between abuse and drawing the genetic short card and getting schizophrenia. Yeah. But he was a very sweet kid, and the one nice thing about him having a slight crush was that it was the first time he had evidently gone to group therapy in several weeks. Usually at the hospital we are at, the patients, I think the average length of stay is less than a week. So having someone that has been there for over a month is unusual. But yeah, and then clinicals for OB got canceled on Friday night because of severe weather. The entire campus wound up getting shut down at 3:30, and our clinical was supposed to start at 2:30. So at about 1, when I was packing up my stuff and getting ready to go, she let us know that she was canceling clinicals. So I don't really feel like I've done a lot this week as far as nursing school, because I don't have any exams next week. So it was just studying for exams, and now I'm done. And I still have to look through the notes that some of my friends sent me for the classes on Wednesday. But my brain has just been elsewhere. So that's it for nursing school. Okay, the reason that I have been getting calls from my grandmother, and the reason that it has not been a good week, is because okay, I'm going to start at the very beginning of this. So there is a noise outside of our bedroom that drives Will crazy. I cannot hear it. He insists that it's there. I think I've heard it once, but it does not bother me at all. He has to wear earplugs to sleep at night when it's on. I think we figured out that it's either the air conditioning unit or an air purifier in the upstairs bedroom of our neighbors. I don't really know what it is. It drives Will nuts. He has to wear earplugs in order to sleep at night. So, evidently, on Tuesday night, at some point around 1 a.m., he got up in the middle of the night, decided to sleep on the couch so he couldn't hear the noises. He was not like in the doghouse sleeping on the couch. He chose to sleep on the couch because of the noise. When he got up, the door to our apartment was closed. It evidently was not locked, but it was closed. 100% for sure was closed. When I got up at around 6 a.m., I went outside, or I went to the living room, and the door was wide open. We don't know what happened. What we think happened is that someone either by mistake or intentionally came into our unlocked apartment, opened the door, saw Will on the couch, and fled, and left the door open. Nothing was stolen, and none of us were hurt. Unfortunately, when I got up, Yuki was there, but Susu was not. So, at some point between 1 and 6, she got out of the apartment, and we don't actually know where she is. So, I was pretty much hysterical on Wednesday, which is why I did not go to lecture. I went to our exam because no matter what, there is not a makeup exam. I know it sounds harsh, but there are no makeup exams for our class, and I'm not getting a 0 on that exam. So I took the exam. It was not my greatest performance, but it was not horrible. I think I wound up getting a high B on it. I don't care. Better than a 0. So, while I was taking my exam, Will called the police and filed a report and all that fun stuff, and we have contacted Hoover Animal Control, the local shelters, local vets, the pet stores. We've put up flyers around our entire apartment complex, and several times I have walked the entire complex. I still have to look up exactly how many acres this is on, but it's quite a few. We don't think that she got outside of this complex, or if she did, it's just into the neighboring complex, because I don't see her going across a busy street. That being said, this is a very large complex, and Hoover Animal Control does not pick up animals unless they are sick or injured. So fortunately, when we checked yesterday, the clinic had not seen her. They had not brought in any cats since she had been missing. So that's a little bit of a good sign. She had her collar on when she left. The part that I'm kicking myself about is that the next day I was going to call to schedule an appointment to have her microchipped. Her sister is microchipped, but Susu is not. So, fortunately, she had her collar on. It is a breakaway, so there is a chance that she is no longer in her collar. But we have not heard of either her or the collar being found yet. And I'm seeing that as somewhat of a good thing for right now, because it means she hasn't been, like, hit by a car, she is not sick, she's not injured. I hear Yuki somewhere. She misses her sister terribly. She pretty much spends all day looking out the window trying to find her, or sitting by the door, and when she hears anything, she will start meowing at us to have us look outside. Which is what really breaks my heart. Because I know that our simple little girl will come wandering back here relatively soon. She was going to go on a grand adventure, and she will come wandering back here. Because that's how she works. She's never gotten out before, but I know her. Hey, Yuki. But needless to say, the fact that Yuki is so heartbroken is what breaks my heart. I miss her very much, but I'm trying not to be sad about it because at this point there's really nothing more we can do. We look around. There's a feral cat shelter type thing that someone has set up near our apartment, and so pretty much every day at around dusk we will go over there and look. There are 5 black cats who look very similar to her that frequent that hangout. None of them are her. Either they're long hair, they're too fat, they're too skinny. Most of them have had their ears docked, which is what they do sometimes when they trap and release feral cats and spay them or neuter them. They will cut a little part, like the tip of their ear off, so that's how we know it's not her. But yeah, so we are looking. If you are in the Birmingham area and you either find a yellow bee collar with her rabies tag and her little tag that says Susu with my phone number on it, or if you find her, obviously let me know. We've talked to the managers at the complex, and the biggest problem with having someone return her is there are a lot of cats in this complex that are not feral cats, but are people's cats that wander around freely, and so people don't think twice when they see a cat. Which is why we've made so many flyers, so that people know to look for her. That she is not just some cat that's wandering around. So that's why my grandma keeps calling, because my grandma is a major animal lover like I am, and she knows that this is very much affecting me, which is part of the reason I haven't talked to her as often as I usually do, because I miss Susu and I miss my grandmother tremendously, so talking about both will make me start crying, and I'm trying very hard to not start crying right now, because I know that my little girl is fine. Will is not convinced that someone came into the apartment. I am, because there's no explanation for how else the door would be opened. They're heavy doors. They do not just blow open with the wind, and they shut very well. So to whoever came into our apartment, if I knew who you were, I'd kick your ass. I don't care that you didn't take anything, that you didn't hurt us. At least have the common courtesy to close the goddamn door. So that's why I've been knitting so fast this week, is because I am anxious and I'm trying to find my baby. Okay, to end on a happy note, I did talk to Addie this week, and evidently the twins, they were both, one was breech and one was transverse, which is if mom's head is up here, mom's feet are down here, the baby's lying like this instead of like this. So breech is head's up here, body's down here, transverse is like this. Both of them are head down now, which is how they're supposed to be. So we're looking like it's probably going to be sometime this week. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm glad that we don't have any exams this week. I do have psych clinicals. I don't have OB the clinicals this week though. So I'm looking forward to that. Granted, there's no knowing exactly for sure when it's going to be, but thinking sometime this week. So looking forward to that. And yeah, Yuki's looking around for her sister still. Okay, I think that's it. I am Notable Needle, Noteable on Ravelry, on Plurk, and on Twitter. Oh my gosh. And I have it open on my computer so I don't forget because I forgot last week. To Oma6, OMASIX, thank you so much for your sweet and informative review on iTunes. I very much appreciate it, and I did see it last week, and I forgot to mention it because I'm a bad person. But thank you very much. It was a very well written review, and I very much appreciate your kind words. So until next week, hopefully I will have 2 sets of good news next week when I record. We'll see. But yeah, bye guys.